Is NBA Youngboy ruining his own legacy? NBA Youngboy has one of the craziest careers we've ever seen in hip hop. He is one of the most streamed rappers of his generation and has pretty much the funniest fan base of all time. You know what I'm saying? And despite spending years dealing with legal problems and long periods away from the spotlight, his music continues to dominate. But lately, it feels like people are talking more about who Youngboy is beefing with than the music he's actually releasing. From taking shots at other rappers to throwing shade at celebrities who weren't even mentioning him, the question has to be asked: is NBA Youngboy slowly ruining his own legacy with unnecessary beefs? Or is this simply Youngboy who Youngboy has always been? Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Before we continue, I just want to let you know my neighbor is like, they for some reason now decided to fix their roof. So if you hear some loud clanging and banging and all that talking and yelling, that's that. But I'm gonna do my best to talk over it. But let's continue. The legacy Youngboy already built. Before we get into the drama, it's important to understand just how successful Youngboy already is. By his mid-20s, he already built one of the biggest fan bases in hip-hop. Hold on, let me rephrase that. By his mid-20s, he had already built one of the funniest fan bases in hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a Youngboy fan, but I love watching his fans. I just love watching. They just entertaining. They so delusional. It's entertaining. But he has multiple platinum albums, billions of streams, hundreds of charting songs, a catalog that most artists twice his age would envy. What's even more impressive is that he achieved most of this while dealing with arrest, probation, house arrest, and long stretches where he couldn't even tour. Youngboy became proof that an artist doesn't need radio hits or award shows to dominate. His fans made sure that, which is why every decision he makes now carries even more weight. Because legends aren't remembered only for their music, they're remembered for how they carried themselves. Now, to be fair, this isn't something new. Youngboy's career has always included conflict. The rivalry with Quando Rondo's side after, the death of King Von, the legendary King Von, rest in peace. Issues with Dirt, problems with, involving Kodak Black, comments towards J. Cole, shots at Boosie, and at various points, social media exchanges involving different rappers and public figures. Some of these conflicts came from real street issues. Others seem rooted in personal disagreements. And that's one thing about Youngboy. He can portray this, top gangster dude and street dude. And I'm not trying to, take shots at him and disrespect him, but he can portray that type of person, but it's very clear how sensitive he really is if you really look at it. But over the past couple years, fans have noticed something different. Instead of only responding to people who directly mention him, sometimes it feels like Youngboy is firing shots at people who weren't even focused on him. And that's where the criticism starts. One or two public feuds, that's normal in hip hop. Even legends like Tupac, Jay-Z, 50 Cent, Eminem, they built parts of their careers around rivalries. The difference is those beefs usually had a clear purpose. There was competition, business, personal history, or literally music. With Youngboy, some recent conflicts have left fans asking, what even started this? Sometimes someone makes an innocent comment, other times a lyric gets interpreted as disrespect, and then suddenly social media is flooded with another beef. When this happens repeatedly, it can make an artist seem unpredictable, even if there are real reasons behind each individual disagreement. Now let me ask you this question: is it hurting the music? Now here's where things get interesting. Youngboy is still putting up massive streaming numbers. His core fan base isn't going anywhere anytime soon. I can promise you that. The conversation has changed. Instead of people discussing, his albums, people are discussing Instagram posts, tweets, who he dissed, who he responded to, who unfollowed who. That's not necessarily a good thing. The biggest artists usually want the music to be the headline. When the drama becomes bigger than the art, that's when the legacy can start taking a hit. Even some hardcore Youngboy fans have admitted that the constant drama gets exhausting. all this, backing them up and, having this side, that can get tiring. Not because they suddenly dislike them, but because it becomes difficult to keep track of who's beefing with who. Every few weeks, there's another headline, another rumor, another diss. Eventually, people stop being shocked. And once controversy becomes normal, it loses its impact. But I'm gonna be fair towards him. Youngboy has never claimed to be a polished celebrity. He's never really claimed to be a celebrity at all. He's never tried to be everyone's favorite rapper. In fact, his authenticity is exactly why millions of people support him. Some fans argue that he's simply responding to the disrespect. Others believe the media exaggerates every disagreement because Youngboy generates clicks. There's probably some truth to both arguments. Not every headline tells the full story, and not every conflict starts with him. It's important to not assume every public disagreement is one-sided. When people discuss all-time greats, they're not only talking about the talent, they're talking about consistency, growth, influence, longevity. Youngboy already has the numbers. He already has a fan base. He already has one of the most influential catalogs of his generation. The only thing that could truly damage his legacy isn't a bad album. It's letting controversy become the first thing that people remember. Because 20 years from now, people won't remember every single Instagram live. They're not going to remember every social media argument. They'll remember the music, or they'll remember the drama, whichever becomes the bigger story. So, is NBA Youngboy ruining his legacy? Not yet. Not at all. His accomplishments are simply too significant to erase. But if the music continues taking a backseat to public feuds, that conversation becomes much more realistic. The greatest artists understand that every public move becomes part of their story. Youngboy already has written an incredible chapter in hip-hop history. The question is, will the next chapter be remembered for classic music or unnecessary beef? So what do y'all think, man? Is Youngboy simply defending himself like he's always done? Or are these constant beefs beginning to overshadow one of the most, influential careers of this generation? Let me know in the comments, man. I know the Youngboy fans gonna be mad at me for making this video, but it had to be made. Somebody had to say it, you know what I'm saying? But that's it for me. Like, comment, subscribe. If you want to argue with me in the comments, go ahead and argue. Another thing, my last video I dropped on CJ So Cool, it did pretty good, but I noticed something. 98% of the people that watched that video were unsubscribed. So I want you to do me a favor and don't be a lame and actually subscribe, like, comment, interact, man. Follow me on Instagram. All that's in the bio or description, all that. And that's it from me, man. I'm gonna see y'all in the next one. Don't go nowhere. Click the video on the screen right now and let's get it.